Hi, Leo. Thanks for coming by. So let's get into this and see what blocks are going on with you guys that perhaps is keeping you from being with somebody. It looks like maybe you are going through a spiritual awakening right now. And if you are going through a spiritual awakening, you are going to be in a completely different place when you get finished. So anybody that you would meet right now, unless they are going through their own spiritual awakening, isn't going to vibe with you in 6 months anyway. So wait until you get done growing, spiritually growing, and see where you end up at. Because until then, the likelihood of you meeting somebody and sticking with somebody is probably not going to happen. What else is going on with Leo right now as far as blocks of why they are not with anybody? Too many cards. Blocks of why Leos are alone right now. Blocks of why Leos, spring. Okay. The weather. This is interesting. February does not seem to be conducive for people wanting to get out and about and meet new people. People want to hibernate. April was always a good month for me. If I was on the dating websites, I used to get a lot of people. The guys used to started showing up in April. February was not usually one of the months. I mean, people were like, they wanted to meet somebody and maybe go out, but they weren't anybody that was serious. February, Valentine's Day is a month or is the day that you go out with someone who is special to you. And so you're not going to go out with somebody that's not very special to you. So keep that in mind. It's the weather. It's the time of year right now that's probably having a lot to do with why you're still sitting at home. People just want to stay in and hibernate. You can't do anything about that. That's a block. That is just a block. What other blocks are going on for Leos right now? Maybe you're a hermit. You're in hermit mode. And maybe somebody asked you out and you said, I don't want to go out because I want to stay in. It's supposed to be cold that night. And I don't feel like getting dressed up. And all right, there's two. So what else are blocks? Purge. Oh, so you're doing some purging. You're letting go of, gosh. Okay, so if you're watching this video, there's some old emotions that are coming up right now. And you could very well be crying and feeling very, very sorry, feeling very, very lonely. And that's good to get that out of your system. There's probably a lot of self-worth stuff, and you're feeling very unworthy right now. Feeling very lonely, feeling very unworthy, wondering why nobody wants to be with you. And that is some self-worth issues that needs to be worked on. And it seems like right at the moment you might be going through the dark night of the soul, which goes along with the spiritual awakening. You are kind of in a cycle of probably fighting off. You're in survival mode. You're either in survival mode or there's just a lot of stuff going on that, there are 15 things in your way to a destination to a good relationship. You need to clear those 15 things out of the way before you're going to be able to get into a decent relationship. So right now is just not the time. So anybody, let's just put it this way. Anybody that you would go out with on Valentine's Day right now would not be anybody that's going to stick around. It's only going to be a friend. So don't get your panties in a bunch because you're sitting at home by yourself on Valentine's Day, because there is that person right at the moment is not here. You're not the person that you need to be. You need to get your shit together first. And then you're like, if you're vibing down here and you are growing, who you're going to be in 6 months from now is going to be a completely different person. So anybody that you would meet right now isn't anybody you want to be around or stay around, because they're probably in the same negative as you are. So the best thing that you can do, stay home on Valentine's Day, cry your heart out, clear out some of those negative emotions, understand why you feel like you are not worthy to be with somebody, clean up some of the inner child stuff, the abandonment wounds, all of that stuff, and get that shit out of your system. So when the time comes, you've got that all cleaned out. The person that you're with has got all that cleaned out. You guys aren't going to be triggering each other and driving each other nuts, because right now, anybody that you would meet, it's not going to be a good relationship because you're not in a good spot. So do not feel bad about that. You know what? It's like, that's the kind of stuff you have to go through in order to understand. If it keeps coming up and it keeps to be an issue, there's healing that needs to be done. Get it healed so you can get in a better place. What other blocks? That one wants to come out. Barrier. You've got barriers around your heart. You've got well, that makes sense too. You're emotionally unavailable. Emotionally unavailable can come in many ways and shapes. The timing is not good. Your finances aren't good. You've got a broken heart from a previous relationship that hasn't been healed. You've got this issue that needs to be healed. This issue needs to be healed. So right now it just feels like you've got a big old concrete block around your heart, and you need to peel those layers off and get your heart. You need to work on your heart chakras. You need to do some forgiveness work. You've got people you are mad at. I feel like you're blaming. It's like, I feel like you are inside this concrete block and you are feeling like a victim. You are blaming everybody else for the reasons of your ill things happening, your dark night of the soul. It's everybody else's fault but your own, why you are alone. You're still blaming your parents. You're still blaming your ex-husband, your ex-lover, your girlfriend from grade school. You're blaming all of these other people for all this shit that's happened to you recently, and it's nobody's fault but your own. When you figure that out, things will be better. And when you quit blaming everybody else, maybe then you will start to manifest a true good relationship. Ugh. Return is a block. Okay, so you're waiting on someone to return. You're waiting on an ex-boyfriend, girlfriend, lover, somebody to return, because you are thinking that they are gonna come back, and that is a block. And that's also why you haven't accepted any offers from anybody else, is because you keep thinking this person is going to return. Maybe they will, but they're not going to return as long as you're in this funk. So you have got to get out of that funk. And if you need to get out of that funk, message me. We can work on that. I have spent my whole life getting myself out of a funk. It can be done. I have some ideas of how to make that happen. So, all right. I feel like we got a good grip on you. Let's see let's suppose you have somebody that you have been dating. This one wants to come out. And you're still not with them for whatever reason. They didn't invite you out on Valentine's Day, and you are like boo-hooing in your beer because you really thought you were going to spend Valentine's Day with that person. And we're going to go over the reasons why that's not happening. The first thing that came out was self-worth issues. I want to pull these because some of these might come out again. So the person that you want to be with right now still has some self-worth issues that they need to work on. And you don't want somebody that doesn't, there's that, what's that phrase? You don't know why anybody would want to be in your club. I don't know. I can't even think what it is. But whatever the case is, this person that you like needs to work on their own self-worth. Nostalgia. That feels okay. So what I'm thinking, I feel like they've got some anger issues. And they're not very good at communicating. So they need to work. The person that you're thinking about has some anger issues around their heart. They need to get that cleared out. I feel like they're kind of in the victim mode too. They're blaming somebody else for their broken heart and for some of their stuff. You guys are mirroring each other is the one thing that comes up. These two came up. And the other person needs to work on their communication skills because they just, I guess I'm trying to think how that's a block. They are afraid to be themselves around you. Okay. They are afraid to be themselves around you because apparently you have jumped on them. And if they are honest with you, you have not accepted it very well. So they have pulled back because they're like, oh God, if I tell them that I don't want to be with them on Valentine's Day because I'm not sure that they're the one, they're going to go off the deep end. If I tell them that I'm questioning anything about this relationship, they're going to go off the deep end, meaning you are going to go off the deep end. So they're afraid to communicate with you in fear of repercussions, negative repercussions. You need to work on that. Because if somebody doesn't feel comfortable coming to you and telling you how they feel, that's not ever going to be a good relationship either. You don't want the same thing to happen to you. If you're feeling a certain way and you need to tell somebody about that, you need to know that that is a safe place to go, a safe conversation to have, and that nobody's going to get all bent out of shape because someone's not feeling things the way you are. And there needs to be a balancing on the scales. So it feels like somebody, they've just been out of balance about something. Could be out of balance about finances. They've been working too much. They just, maybe they have been working too much and they just want to stay home. Well, let's see what that says. They want to just stay home and rest on Valentine's Day. Don't take it personal. It just feels like they wouldn't have their heart in it anyway if they did go out with you because they're just exhausted is kind of the feeling about that. And the guide came up as a block. How is a guide as a block on the other person? The guide as a block. How is the guide? It just, I guess it feels like they are not good at listening to their intuition. And they've known for a while that you probably are not the right person. They've felt that for a while. They just haven't had the nerve to tell you that. So their intuition tells them that this is not good timing for them, and they ignored that guidance. And so until they can start paying attention to their own guidance, you also don't want to be with somebody like that, because that's a good way to get somebody in your life that gets themselves into trouble a lot because they override and ignore their good sense. So don't hang around with people that don't have good sense and just don't seem to have any intuitive abilities. For instance, a friend of mine that ended up getting a DUI one night because he chose to drive after drinking. And he made a comment later that his intuition told him that was the wrong thing to do, but he didn't listen to it. That's a bad place to be, is when your gut tells you don't do that and you don't listen to it, it can get you into trouble. So refocus. The other person that you are wanting to be with, I feel, yeah, they're just trying to refocus on the important things. I feel like they just need to work on themselves, and they need to fill their cup first. And they can't fill your cup if they can't even fill their own cup. And family is a block for the other person. So maybe they have kids, and those kids are needing attention. They need to work really hard to help pay child support. Perhaps, maybe their ex-spouse had a date and they're home with their kids, watching their kids while their ex-spouse was out. Whatever the case is, family is a block for them right now. And that's one of the reasons you guys are not together on Valentine's Day. Anyway, I hope you found that helpful. If you would like to have a reading that is specific, truly, truly specific to your issues, let me know. We can do those. And I hope that you find what you're looking for. And next Valentine's Day, you are with someone, not home alone, regretting that you're not with somebody. Have a good one. Bye.